Okay, sorry for that. Talking last time or just a few moments ago about the nitrate and the nitrite. So, in learning chemistry, you should also know how to understand, not only to understand, but memorize things in order to make learning easier. So, I would like you to recall your reduction, oxidation. So, as a review, you have here oxidation or the loss of electron. Reduction is the gain of electron. Maybe you have usually interchange the word reduction from the gain. Remember that electron is negative. So if you actually gain something that is negative, it is reduction. Sorry. So as the equation shows you, you have here NH4 again with the oxidation state of -3 and NO3 oxidation state of +5. Again, you might be asking the question, where did I get -3 and where did I get -5? Remember our last slide? You have here -3 and you have here +5. Uh, where did I get again this oxidation state? That you should memorize. So you go back to your periodic table. Usually the periodic table that you bought from your school canteen or from the bookstore has list of oxidation number below the periodic table. So you can see there the different valences. Usually the valences are its oxidation number. So going back, you have here you have here NO3 with the oxidation number of +5. Did it gain or was there a loss of electron? Just simply looking into positive, a negative to positive, that is already a gain. Just simply looking at the numbers, there is also an increase in number. But safer for you if you're going to just simply be guided first with the positive sign and the, sorry, the negative sign and the plus sign. So once a negative uh, became positive, there is a gain in electron. That is no longer chemistry. That is already your mathematics or your uh, even arithmetic. So there is 8 electron transfer here, or there are, how come that it has 8 electron transfer? Now, this is your famous nitrogen cycle. I am sure you have learned this in your biology subjects or biology related subjects like your environmental science, and also likewise in your um, agriculture. So this is the nitrogen cycle. You have here the plant and animal residues. The plant and animal residues could be generated through their decaying material or even their waste material. So all waste material solid, especially the solid one, all solid materials excreted by animals are considered organic. That is why for your practical arts or for your agricultural subjects or agricultural related subjects, you have this animal dung or compost pit. All of the contents of such are actually decomposing uh, materials, and these are all organics. And these organic compounds are um contributory to the fertilization of the soil because of the nitrogen content. So the organic material, after decomposition, it will give you the NH4. So the NH4 to NO2, NO2 to NO3, and then going back. But there are some instances that your NO3 will just simply release its oxygen to get to be binary nitrogen. So this binary nitrogen could either go back to the plant or animal itself or to the living organism, or it will go back to the soil. Okay. There is also a portion here that the ammonia will go directly to the atmosphere. So that is actually the ammonia-like or beauty parlor-like odor that you could smell around. Or if you are in the city which is polluted or that is polluted rather, the canal, the what they call amoy canal is actually amoy ammonia. It contains nitrogen. Okay, this is a compost pit. So you have here waste materials and added with soil. In commercial composting, the compost pit or the compost that is taken or being formed will not be sold as pure compost, but rather some garden stores mix it with loam soil or clay soil or sandy soil. It depends upon the demand or the kind of plant that the plantito or plantita or the gardener would like to produce. So in a more succulent, dun sa mga succulent, more sand is added. For those that requires a lot of water, a little of clay soil is also added. But the main ingredient of all these types of garden soil is actually the compost because of the nitrogen present. For the organic farm producing organic vegetables, the sole source of fertilizer that they use is the organic fertilizer. Yeah, it is safe to use as compared with the heavily laden soil with chemicals because there are several studies claiming that they perform or they yield at the same rate. Okay, this is actually an experimental field with alfalfa, peas, and grass. Alfalfa is leguminous, peas is also leguminous, but usually there are some grasses that are also with um, legumes that could be characterized by as leguminous also. An example of this is yung common grass that you usually pull out from your garden. Mm, I forgot the name of that grass, and I do not want to consume the time. So there are some grasses that has this bulb. What is that grass with bulb that looks like peanut? I never mind. Um, so the leguminous plants contributes also nitrogen content to the soil. But I am not telling you to tell to the farmers that just leave the grasses in the farm. They provide nitrogen. Now, while grasses provides nitrogen to the soil, the grass also competes with the cash crop planted by farmers in terms of light, in terms of water, and also likewise fertilizer. So it is not also safe to say that just leave the grass around. Okay. So there are some farmers really that just leave some materials from the previous crops to be decomposed. This is just okay for the maintenance of the quality of soil. Because once these things will be decomposed, then nitrogen will be increased. So usually even in garden shop or our many kinds of plants that people are collecting today, you can still see some compost present in the pots that were used in that were used by the gardeners in selling these beautiful plants. And the plants these days are costly and expensive as compared before, because even plants that were not given due recognition before are now becoming so expensive. Okay, these are, I think I have discussed this with you, that even ammonia or even in the farm, nitrogen content could be lost by the volatilization of ammonia. That is, instead of the ammonia going deeper to the chemical process of fertilization, the ammonia just simply evaporates. So the nitrogen content is lost. This is actually the chemistry of ammonia volatilization. So you have here the formula of urea, the urea. The urea is just simply being scattered or being introduced to the farm. So the urea together with the soil enzymes plus water, if you notice, every time a farmer apply urea, the next thing to be done is to water or to irrigate the farm. That is the reason that enzymatic activity could be hastened by the presence of moisture if you are applying urea. So here is your urea together with uh, the result of the decomposition of enzyme with water will produce NH3. So it will never go to the fertilization of the soil. Now, where is urea not usually advised to apply for? Soil which are sandy in nature, or it has low clay or even low organic compound, and also likewise dry alkaline surface. Urea makes the soil itself um, acidic. Then you have here the process of nitrification. So you have there the ammonium uh, through series of reaction with uh, oxygen or redox. Oxygen and hydrogen, the ammonia will be converted into nitrate and then later on nitrite. So uh, the process of oxidation reduction is actually a series, because if you recall, there is a change of valence here from in ammonium to nitrate to nitrite. So the valence could be from positive to negative, but it is increasing in uh, oxidation number. Now, what facilitates this is actually already a concern of biology, although this could be hastened by the process or the presence of bacteria, the autotrophic bacteria, the bacteria that works with the presence of oxygen. So, One of the content needed by autotrophic bacteria is also nitrogen. Although it obtain energy from nitrogen oxidation, autotrophic bacteria also helps in the quality of the soil. Now, when you will have your microbiology, you will come to learn that there are some microorganisms present in soils, and these are under the group of nitrosomonas. The nitrosomonas convert ammonia to energy, and you have also nitrobacter. So you have here one product here, the NO2. One Once the nitrosomonas had produced the NO2, the nitrobacter come in, and then the group of nitrobacter will convert this again into NO3 plus energy. So this is the end product of nitrification. So what are the organisms that is needed in nitrification? You have to recall this again. This illustration is up again when you will have your microbiology, because the first one that will work with your nitrogen containing compound are the autotrophic bacteria, and then the product of autotrophic bacteria will be work or played with nitrosomonas, and the product of the nitrosomonas will be played by the nitrobacter. All of these are bacteria found in soil. They are not necessarily um, dangerous to human health. Uh, Not all bacteria are bad to health. Although I am sure you are in your state of COVID scare, please don't condemn all microorganisms, because there are also microorganisms that are helping the human body itself, and also likewise various human activity. So you have here the non-nitrogen non-nitrogen conversion already. So you have already the microorganism here ready to acquire oxygen, but there is already no more or a little of uh, nitrite. And then this is already a different process that is no longer involved in the fertilization of soil. It could also be found in other process of decomposition, like in the preparation of leather, the composition of uh, fibers. Okay, this is nitrogen leaching. Nitrogen leaching is characterized by the foul odor and the dark green color of the water, plus floating plants are very healthy. So this is what they call a water that is very nutritious. A water is very nutritious if it has high nitrogen content, but it is, although it is making the plants healthy, it is also lowering the oxygen level of or the quality of the water. So don't claim that there is a healthy and balanced environment in this picture, because looking into the color of the lake itself or the water body here, it is not healthy. So denitrification, de means loss. So the gaseous loss of nitrogen upon nitrogen reduction could be illustrated chemically in this equation. So from your NO3, it went down to dinitrogen compound. So NO3 to NO2 to NO, and then N2O. Okay? So it is just merely the loss of oxygen from the 3 oxygen to 2 oxygen to 1 oxygen, then the oxygen is replaced by nitrogen. And once the nitrogen here, and once the nitrogen is replaced by fellow nitrogen, the oxygen is ready to go. Now, this is the biological component of denitrification. So again, What are the microorganisms responsible here? The anaerobes. The anaerobes do not require oxygen uh, for growth, but rather they do not grow with the presence of oxygen also. So once oxygen is introduced, the nitrogen will use itself in order to become active nitrogen. So you have the dinitrogen compound or um, other NH, hydrogen nitrogen compounds. And then we have also heterotrophic. These organisms are responsible for uh, most decomposition. They make use of organic compound as energy source. Just like for the case of just for the case of mushroom and other moss or molds, they do not use oxygen. Okay, in in the farm, back in the farm, or even in the ground, ordinary highway, the nitrification is enhanced by low oxygen or um, high organic material. Metabolic reduction is not denitrification. It is only no gas formation. So you have here NO3 to illustrate it chemically. You have there the NO3 or the nitrogen containing compound. Then the organism, inside the organism, the NO3 will be converted into NH4 and other organic nitrogen. This is already the digestion of the different grass or the different plants being eaten by a ruminant. So just simply try to imagine a goat right now or a cow right now eating a grass. This is what is happening inside his stomach. Nitrogen is reduced for use in protein formation. This is also true to us. That is why most of the excreta, solid excreta of animals have methane because of the interplay of nitrogen containing compound in protein and our energy production. So in plants, you have what we call nitrogen fixation, or they convert the fresh body of a plant into high nitrogen producing source of fertilization, partner for fertilization. So legumes like peanuts, like your mongo, uh, plus the microorganism rhizobium produces nitrogen needed in the fertilization of soil. So that's the chemistry of nitrogen fixation. So the legumes contain this one plus the organism now will produce the ammonia that is needed in the fertilization of soil. These are the microorganism. Just simply a view. You will have a lot of this when you will have your microbiology. The Rhizobium meliloti is present for alfalfa's degeneration to produce nitrogen. The Rhizobium trifoli for the clover. Luckily, we don't have this. These are not Filipinos. Then we have also Rhizobium that is for our beans. The Rhizobium fascioli. In some laboratories, in order to study growth of a certain seed with the presence of its experiment matter or material actually are coated or injected inside the seed together with rhizobium bacteria. That is to facilitate also the accumulation of needed material, that is nitrogen, in the production of energy. So this is a simple illustration that I am telling you. So this is the roots that the legumes have usually this bulb. This is the bulb, and inside this bulb is the rhizobium. So if you are familiar with peanuts, but I do not know if all of you have seen a peanut plant or the roots or a mango, as if there is a fruit clinging to the roots, and these fruits are includes your the peanut that we eat. The peanut is not actually a fruit; it is a part of a root. So you just simply try to imagine that there is this bulb-like present in the roots of peanuts and other legumes, and in it is actually the possible action chemicals in which the rhizobiums could react with. So this is the chemistry of nitrogen and organic compounds plus the microorganism inside the nodule of a legumin in order to help nitrogen fixation. So the carbon reacts with the rhizobium. The rhizobium also reacts with the nitrogen. So the photosynthesis plus nitrogen fixation will give enough energy for the plant to survive. This is the performance of alfalfa and clover in terms of fertilization. So usually, in order to guarantee a good pH or acidity and fertility of the soil, it should be covered with 100 to 250 kilograms of nitrogen taken from alfalfa and clover. This is actually the basic guide for organic farmers is using. Okay, beans and peanuts are rarely used, but they also help in the input of nitrogen. We have discussed this already. This is just simply an explanation as to what possible uh, non-legumines could also play with the formation of nitrogen. So the actinomycetes, especially the pancreas, these are non-legumines, but they produce or they contribute to the nitrogen present in our environment. The same true with plants, especially the trees, the alders and other trees. Alder is a type of a tree. In cases whereby there are no available plants with nodules, there are also some nitrogen fixers like your azolla. In the Philippines, there was a part of its history that azolla is actually being planted in nearby rice paddies in order to increase its nitrogen content. This was the years when organic farming became popular at commercial scale, not not just simply inside this garden houses. These are still some of the examples of organisms responsible in nitrogen fixation and how much is needed in order to have available nitrogen. Okay, that's all for our nitrogen. To wrap it up, and before I let you go, I would like you to go to your periodic table. I have not discussed already what are the different properties or what are the different things that you should know as nature or characteristics of nitrogen. I will leave that matter to you. I am sure you know how to use your periodic table. Your periodic table shows you the guide as to what is the atomic number, atomic weight of nitrogen. I encourage you to do more readings. You could browse to your internet in order to understand more about nitrogen. So from here, I'm giving you the assignment or the next topic to read on the transition elements. Watch out for announcement also as to what you are going to do in the lab. Thank you.